Hello everyone, this is Gilbert Martinez with the 8th grade science curriculum in the state of Texas. Right, we are going to be discussing in this video the process of ecological succession, which is in alignment with TICS 7.10c, which is to describe the role of ecological succession in an ecosystem. Okay, let's get started. The concept of ecological succession, it just presents in very simple terms how new land becomes populated with living organisms. And I'm saying new land because this is going to be very important. New land is created, and that leads to primary succession, which can also create secondary succession. Both have pioneer species made of plants and animals, and each of these bullets is going to be discussed. So where does the new land comes from? What do we mean with new land? All right. If we look at this picture, you can see that there is a glacier. And what is happening to this glacier? Well, it's melting away. And as it melts away, this is new land that is practically being created because it's been covered with ice for many years, for probably thousands of years. So that's it. We have a new land that was created. Global warming is definitely helping us here. Take a look at this other example, how in this section right here, we have a lot of ice. This is a glacier that has been disappearing with years, okay? Probably in the last 10, 15 years, how the glaciers are being disappearing all over the world. So yes, melting glaciers creates new land. We have another example. What is this? What can you see in this picture? Well, if you guessed lava, you are on the right path. Okay, volcanic activity also creates new land. So what is primary succession? Well, in simple terms, primary succession is how new land becomes populated with different organisms. Well, at the beginning, when we have new land, there is nothing but rocks, right? There is no land whatsoever. Okay, there is no soil. I wouldn't say land. Scratch that out. I'm gonna put soil. There is no soil. Okay, there's nothing but rocks. You see that? Here it is. You can see it. So with time, we're gonna have pioneer species populating this area, which will lead to intermediate species, and from there, it will turn into a climax community, right? So at the beginning, we can have very small organisms living on the rocks. They're gonna be breaking those rocks down into small pieces, which are gonna create soil. And once we have soil, we're gonna get this small annuals, plants, lichens, and from there, more soil is going to be created. At the end, we're going to end up with this climax community. It's a process that takes hundreds of years. We have another example of primary succession. On this one, once again, we got nothing but rocks. See that? Okay. So from there, you can see the pioneer species like lichens, and with time, once we get some soil going, we're gonna see grasses, weeds, and some type of herbs, shrubs, and then with time we're gonna see young forests, like especially pine trees, and then soft trees made of softwood, and at the end you're gonna have mature hardwood type of plants like hickories, oaks, and maple trees when we have a climax community. Once again, this takes hundreds of years. Keep that in mind. Now, we are also going to be discussing secondary succession. Now, secondary succession is a little bit different. Here, we had a climax community, but it was destroyed. Right? You can see here, probably by a wildfire, or probably this is a man-made fire. Sometimes we can do a lot of damage to our environment. But the thing is that the climax community that we had there was destroyed. So what do we end up at the end? Well, practically nothing. You can see over here how everything is pretty much empty. There's no trees, there's no grasses, there's no shrubs, there's nada, right? But we do have one thing very important, and that is soil. So in secondary succession, the main difference here is that we have soil. And due to that soil, we are not going to have the primary or the type of like in primary succession. Here we're going to have different type of pioneer species like annual plants, and then grasses and perennials, and then shrubs, pines, young oaks, and hickories. So as you can see, the primary species and these ones are a little bit different than with primary succession. Now notice the timing is also a little different. In 0 years, when everything was destroyed, it only takes a couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years, and then we can have a lot of different types of plants. Up to 150 years, we can have the intermediate species, which is the young trees like oaks and hickories. And after the 150 years, then we're gonna see a lot of mature trees. So here is an example of pioneer species, but this one is only in primary succession. Okay, so here it is. We can see that it kind of looks like droppings from animal, but it's not. These are lichens, and lichens are very helpful in breaking down these rocks because they release a weak acid into the rocks, and that weak acid makes the rock soft, and as the soft breaks down with the rain or with the snow, it's gonna settle to the bottom and it's gonna become soil. Okay, another example of this pioneer species in primary successions are these green organisms over here. They kind of look like a carpet, right? These are mosses, and mosses are also very helpful on breaking down the rocks and creating more soil. So pioneer species in secondary successions are a little bit different, and they're quite beautiful too. As you can see here, this doesn't look like anything from the primary succession. In secondary succession, our pioneer species are annual plants, which are usually wildflowers. All right, so that's basically it. I'm done with this lesson. And if you have any questions, just go back and look at the lesson again, and you can clear any of your doubts. Thank you very much. This is Gilbert Martinez from the 8th grade science curriculum in the state of Texas. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.